So I'm Olivia and I'm a recovering alcoholic addict, whatever you want to call it. Basically I was a nut job and now I'm alright. And
Sister Spat, yeah. And I'm Charlie and I'm the sister of an alcoholic.
And together we are
The Sister Spat.
the Sister Spat.
So I think the question is, why are we doing it?
Well, personally, for me, as an addict in recovery, that has caused a shitstorm in the past. For me, it's about bringing awareness to the tables and showing that there is a life after addiction. You can rebuild relationships with family members that you thought was never possible. Well, we're here for a start.
Yeah.
And we're living
thought that would happen, yeah.
We're living proof of that. And yeah, just to show people just the raw, honest truth of what it's like in recovery and recovering from addiction, basically. And just have a bit of fun with it. What was your inspiration to start the podcast?
I think personally, when everything was going on with you, there wasn't a lot out there for people of families of alcoholics.
Yeah.
Or any support. There are certain charities, and I do know that, but it's more for the children of alcoholics more than anything else. And there's not a lot out there. And I think because I'm quite an honest person, I say it how it is.
Yeah.
I won't beat around the bush about it. And I think it's nice. If I had me back then, it would have been a lot of help.
Yeah.
So I think it's important.
No, that's really good. And it is true. Like, you've got... There is, like, family meetings, but that tends to be... Is it analog meetings where it's, like, linked to AA? There's nothing out there that's not linked to Alcoholics Anonymous.
But it's say, like... I don't know, if someone has cancer or someone's dying or there's all these things going on that have all that support there.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the families of alcoholics do just sort of get lost in the system a little bit.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And it's not out there.
No, and I think it'd be really good for people to see both sides, see a raw, honest account, but also we can talk about serious subjects without taking ourselves too seriously.
Yeah, and I think if you're out the other side of it, you can take...
Yeah.
You don't have to take it as seriously.
Yeah, but it's showing hope, isn't it, that you can get to this stage, to those that are still struggling with it.
Let's talk about what growing up was like for us.
Well, I think we both...
It was quite a happy childhood from what I remember, as much as I can't remember a lot of it.
Yeah, I think for me mentally it was very different to you mentally. So it was like the typical 2.4 children family. Never wanted for nothing, like we never had any like financial hardships.
Yeah,
we had a nice house. Everything was fine in that respects. Dad worked a lot. Mum was the runarounder kind of.
Part-time worker sort of, yeah.
Yeah, like she obviously, I mean, she's a biomedical scientist, but she cut her hours for us. So it was all very normal, good childhood.
Yeah.
On an outsider's perspective.
But if you were struggling with your mental health, that's all you can probably remember, I'm guessing.
So for me, from the age of 5, all I can remember is mentally being nuts. So I developed severe OCD from literally the age of 5, where I never slept. I was up all night touching things multiple times, like light switches. I had severe paranoia complex. I was constantly on high alert, waiting for something bad to happen. And that just ruled my whole existence. Like, I remember like nice Christmases, and I remember things like that, but having such a bad mental illness from such a young age, all I can really focus on when I look back is how it made me feel, how I felt.
Yeah, it makes sense.
What can you remember about how you felt as a kid?
I can't remember a lot, but I think probably in a good way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just remember it being a normal household family. I can't remember a lot from being in Cotwell End. I mean, Sedgley. So that was until like 7.
Yeah.
I remember the house and stuff, but I don't remember a lot about being there or the memories surrounding it. I remember around where we live now a bit more, but again, it's just you don't, because like if you think from when I'm 25, like I haven't. That doesn't make sense. Let me think about what I'm trying to say. Sorry, you think I'll like crop. So I'd say because like I don't remember you being ill has been a big part of my life because I'm not that old.
Yeah.
I think the happy memory childhood side to it, I don't remember a lot of that. Naturally.
Yeah, because I think trauma affects people in very different ways, and I think the more recent years with the trauma of me has made you not be able to look very far back. It's only because
I do also think it's natural not to remember it.
Yeah.
Past that. Because if you think, like, when would you say you started with your drink and stuff? What, from 14, 15?
Yeah.
So when you think in terms, I was 10. Like, I wasn't even in secondary school.
Yeah.
So you think in terms of that, like, I wasn't actually that old.
Yeah. I think I forget, because, like, 4 or 5 years age difference doesn't sound a lot, but in kids' terms, it's a massive amount. Yeah. And I think as well, obviously, normal kids don't remember much about from being really young. But I think when you've got mental problems like I did, everything's at the forefront, everything's heightened.
Yeah, it makes sense why you'd remember it.
Yeah. And then moved here, like you say, I was 11, you were 7.
7, yeah.
And then
I remember moving here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we moved here so I could get in a good secondary school. Secondary school started, I had a bit of bullying and stuff, but nothing that was like major. But my obsessive compulsive disorders were still quite bad. And then I found alcohol, like you say, around 14, 15, and then as soon as I found that was it. Boom. By the age of 18, I was in full-blown addiction.
Don't mind the catch on the
table. So, yes, then it was like full-blown addiction mode. Mum and Dad had broke up, Dad left, which was, for me, was very out the blue, but you've said before.
See, I could see it coming. But I think that's a bit of a back. That's me constantly checking out for what you were doing. It's like my senses on alert. So I think for what you probably didn't notice between Mum and Dad, I could tell a mile off that you weren't right. But I think as well, like if there's problems going on and they were talking a lot about like you and your problem, not saying it was related, but like if they were worried about you and talking about it,
Bob is a really, really old mangy cat.
Bloody hell, Bob.
Stay there. We love you, but stay there. Carry on.
Well, I think maybe the more serious conversations they were having were what you weren't in the room. I don't know, maybe they were worried about how you would deal with it, so they were more conscious around you being a bit happier, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, to cut a long story short, by the age of 18, I was a full-blown alcoholic mess that just caused chaos everywhere. And we were close as like little kids, weren't we?
I don't remember us being close before now.
Do you not?
No, I don't remember it.
Do you not remember when we were kids?
Nah, this is what I mean, I don't remember.
We used to play fingers and thumbs and dolls and that together.
Don't remember. But only sort of memory.
So you don't remember? Yeah, because you ain't going to remember Cotwell End. See, I remember me and my friend Elizabeth from primary school, we'd like literally get you lying on the bed with cucumbers on your eyes and playing fingers and thumbs.
Don't remember.
we'd like literally play dolls together and like moms and dads and.
No idea.
Wow.
Really?
Oh. You liked me then? But I was quite. I could do with like a facial service or a massage. I could do with doing it now. But I think because although I had a lot of these mental problems going on, I was still very outgoing and talkative, and I kind of spoke for you as a kid, Mum.
Yeah, I was quite shy.
Yeah.
See, but do you know what it is as I get older, and it sounds bad, but I think even from a young age, if I didn't like someone, I just didn't
Speak.
Like even now,
It's
like
autistic now. That's like
I do have an autistic nature, but it's like now, like I could be the most outgoing person in the room, but at the same time, I could be in a room. I'm like, I know I'm not going to get along with anyone here, so I'm not bothered. Like I'm crap at small talk. So I think even as a young age, that's what I was like.
Yeah. See, Mum always says that she can remember you like locking yourself in your room and like and not being really like insular, but I don't remember that. I just remember you just being quiet in crowds of people.
Yeah, but again, I think that's where it comes from. Like, it's funny because a lot of people, you say you were very outgoing and like confident, whereas I think in some ways I was the one that's more confident. Like, you had a lot more external confidence.
You had a lot more
internal confidence.
Yeah.
Like, I've always not really given too much what people.
Where I was looking for validation,
yeah,
like external validation, where you was quite comfortable with who you were in your own skin.
Yeah, so I didn't feel any
need to
prove myself.
And I think a lot of people with addiction issues do have that problem where they feel either inadequate or they can't fit in, and they're constantly changing their shell kind of thing, and then they discover alcohol, which kind of numbs down all like things like identity crises, and obviously it just this cat's really putting me on. Bob, piss off.
I fall asleep there.
How can you fall asleep standing up?
Oh, he's about to lie down now.
Wow.
It's funny.
And obviously, at the time, you feel like it's making you, especially as a 15-year-old kid, you think it's numbing your mental health, but not understanding the long-term effects and how it literally sent me. By the time just before I went into rehab, I was hallucinating, I was delusional, I was planning suicide. It just completely destroys you mentally.
Well, I've always said if you go into a party, whoever's the loudest in the room is a person to worry about.
Yeah. No, but it's right. And I suppose I was very loud in the early years of drinking, but then it soon become at home on my own, behind closed doors.
Hiding drink, yeah.
Hiding drink, just I would literally come in, you'd say if you had a drink, and I'd swear blind in your face, I have not had a drink, and I'd be like 2 bottles of vodka down.
And you could see it in your. I've always said this about you. There's a certain face that you had, and it was just won't recreate it, but it was a bad face.
Go on, recreate.
It was like
Yeah,
nothing behind the eyes. And I remember just thinking, fucking hell. But that's what used to be more annoying.
And it was like, the anger as well. I think I was even when I hadn't had a drink that day, I was so angry. Like, literally.
You were a little shit.
Oh, I was. Because I'd be craving a drink. I'd be dying for a drink. So, like, family dues where I couldn't drink, it was just hell. I was just like, either kill somebody, cause an argument to get out and get a drink.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, just being me caused an argument at that time.
Well, yeah.
And yeah, so it's safe to say from, like, you were like, what, 10, 11, me, 14, 15. From then, we never really had a relationship, did we?
No, not at all.
And
it was a relationship, but just a very bad one.
Toxic.
It was a toxic relationship.
Yeah. And I could never see... I always, and typical alcoholic trait, would blame everybody else for my issues. And I think you got in the firing line quite a lot.
But it was almost like there was anger that I was all right and you weren't. Probably, yeah. That's what it always seemed to be. Because it was always like when you were drunk, you'd always say like, well, you've got this perfect life, you've got this, that and this. And it's like, I don't. You don't have a clue what's going on in my life because you never asked.
Yeah.
But it was always that thing of like,
I think
weird
I felt
jealousy.
I think as well, in my drunken mess, I would expect sympathy off my family because Mum always gave it me, and I was like, why is she not?
Yeah, but that was wrong for her to do it.
Yeah, because she massively enabled me, which she didn't realise what she was trying to do.
Yeah,
was
like,
help.
she was trying to do the best thing in the
She
situation.
was trying to do the best, but it's unless you know or unless you've been through alcoholism or a family member, someone close to you, never understand what it's like unless you're in that situation, really.
No.
Because it's hard, it's really hard. I think both parties.
I think the relationship between a mum and daughter is different between a sister and sister.
Yeah, it is. Like, you were just brutally honest with me and I couldn't take it at the time.
Yeah, but it was like at the end of the day, you've sunk 3 bottles of vodka and it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You're a nightmare. You're being abusive.
Yeah.
I've got to go to work in 2 hours and I'm not even jumped in the shower yet because you're doing whatever you're doing. And it's like, well, it's not right. Whereas Mum would come back from work and be like, oh, I don't really live. And I'm like, Mum, she's been doing this, that and this all day. Like, it's not right. Like, something needs to happen.
And bear in mind at this point, because I moved out when I was 18 from the family home. I won't even go through the storyline there because it'll be here all day. And then I think I come back for a bit, for about 6 months when I was about 24.
So I've been 20. Yeah, possibly.
About 2021. So I was about 24, 25 and I come back for a bit.
Yeah, because I remember it was just before lockdown because you were here at the start of lockdown. That's when I moved out because I was like, I can't be here.
Yeah.
Somehow managed to find a house to rent ridiculously cheap in Womburn. Don't know how I managed that.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I'm going. I was like, I can't live 24/7.
Yeah.
And then that's what happened.
And that was that. And then it was just years of me going through the same painful cycles, and then I was in that rehab, in that detoxes, in that hospital. And then it got to the point where I was just mentally broken. I was like, right, that's it. I'm done. No matter what I do, I can't get clean and sober. I'm just going to end my life. And then literally within days, I actually picked up a phone call, which I never used to pick up the phone when I was drinking. And it was somebody telling me I've got a place in a rehab. So it was like, this is my last fight.
And that last rehab?
Yeah. And that last fight was the best fight I've ever done because here I am now. And I don't think we ever thought that I'd get cleaned. Anybody did.
Being blunt, I thought you'd be dead at 30.
Yeah.
I thought you'd be dead.
Imagine it.
But then you start thinking, because you've got a daughter.
Yeah.
Then you start thinking, what would you have to do in that situation? Would you have to adopt? Like, I don't know how it would work. And you start thinking about stuff like that.
It's scary.
Like, would you take over? It's just a thought that's apt to cross my mind because I'm like, would her dad have a full time or would she need another carer? Like, you think about all these things.
And throughout all my addiction, I have had my daughter as part of my life, by the way, for the viewers and people listening. There's just been a lot of times where it has to be supervised by mom or whatever, and luckily I've had my mom, and Layla's had a dad where
Layla's had a lot of
support. So I don't think that she was just like stuck with me all the time as an addict, because she did have a lot of love and support.
It was the right way of going about things when it came to Layla.
Yeah, and it's just a really difficult time. And then something just snapped after years and years. So it was basically a decade of me trying to get clean.
Yeah.
And then I went to a fantastic treatment centre that dealt with my mental health and my addiction side by side. And it was the best thing that I've ever done.
It's just
no. And that's where my business come out, and I set up Sober Coaster, because you've got to be 6 months clean to gain any mental health treatment off the NHS.
Mm.
But your mental health shit So you're just going to carry on drinking and using, and you can't get that 6 months clean. And even if you did get them 6 months clean, the suicide rate is ridiculous because you can't cope with your emotions without any help.
Yeah.
When you first get sober. So that's where my courses and everything come into it, because by using DBT therapy skills, which for the listeners is dialectical for content behavioural therapy, that was all back to front then, weren't it?
No, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the cat.
If we were you just licking on this,
like an ASMR video.
But yeah, and doing dialectical behavioural therapy skills, which is great for addiction and people with borderline personality disorder, which is another thing I've got, and it just all worked. And I thought this is a fantastic way of helping people get clean and sober, because after years of trying the conventional routes of AA, and all the CA, NA, all those type of anonymous things, RSPCA, it just, and different detoxes and that, I needed to sort this out. And having therapy was the only thing that would sort this out, but the right therapy.
The drink is like a answer to the mental health, innit? Like drinks not the problem.
And like
I know drink's a problem, but you know,
like
the mental health's a problem, not the drink.
Gabbo Mate says, people with mental health problems find the solution in drink. They find a solution in drink to begin with, but then
it's like if you needed your leg chopped off, you wouldn't treat the paracetamol.
If you needed your leg chopped off, you wouldn't treat it with paracetamol.
I know, Miss. Shut that.
I'm hearing that here. Bob, do you know what that means?
Oh, I think you do.
You mind your cat. Oh, you.
Lips are really dry.
But yeah, so, and then I think after that it was just time, wasn't it? And being accountable and proving that the work I was doing was also aligning with my actions.
I think that's always a thing for like alcoholics. I think you do all these things, and I think like with me, like I'm quite if you apologise, I'm fine. Like, someone could be horrible to me, and I'm like, if you take accountability and you apologise the next day, we'll move on. Like, that's all that matters. And I think if you've gone on one massive bend, done whatever you've done, whatever, and then the next morning it's like, oh, whatever, I don't care. It's not like anything happened. There's no apology. There's no accountability. The only one thing, because you know how much I've taken accountability for all my actions and whatever. But you know what the problem is as well, though? You don't remember it?
I don't fucking remember none of it.
Oh, God.
And the thing is, I was so set, and I would believe my own lies in my head.
That's what takes it back to,
so I believed that you were making it up. And I was like, she's doing this just because she hates me. And I never did such a thing.
Do you know what? It takes
now I look back, I know for a fact that that is something I would do in addiction.
But it takes it back to, like, parents, family members, anyone. If you mollycoddle the situation, act like everything's normal, then the kids of that family or the people around you who actually feel something about it and are annoyed and angry, it sort of diminishes how they're actually feeling, and it also diminishes what the person of an alcoholic has actually done. And it's like, oh, it's fine. Like you might have punched Charlotte around the face yesterday, but it's all right. Don't worry.
So in context, you're on about like the way Mum was be like, it's fine. Like she say it was fine. So not only is it letting me get away with it, it's also diminishing your feelings.
And it's because you don't remember it. It's like
it didn't happen.
It's like, all right then, that didn't happen.
But then you're the one that's left being hurt, and nobody around you has accepted that you've been hurt.
Also, I think being in denial from the outside of alcoholics, like anyone around it, like you've got to like admit what's actually going on. Like everyone does.
Yeah, you've got to face up to the fact that, because it's not just about obviously the alcoholic or the addict or whatever admitting to it. If
it's everyone else,
if the family is still saying, "Oh no, you're not. No, you're not. You're all right." It's all it's going to do is reinforce that behaviour.
I think as well, if it's only the family members that are seeing or hearing what's going on. And don't get me wrong, like obviously I spoke to certain people outside of what was going on, but no one could completely understands unless you're in that family. It's
Yeah.
like if no one in that family is being honest about what's going on,
Yeah.
then it's got to be like, all right, then we'll.
It's not going to move for any further forward by everyone being in denial, are you?
But you've got, well, then I suppose it's you've got to play devil's advocate. But I've learned in life a lot of people deal with things by being in denial. Like a lot, whether it is alcoholics or whatever the situation is, a lot of people do. It's not dealing with things at the end of the day, but it's handle situations by being in denial.
Yeah, and I think denial's a very dangerous game to play though, because all you're doing is burying emotions and feelings that are just going to surface in other other outlets. And because if you suppress emotions like that, no matter what it is or what the situation is, that emotion has got to go somewhere. 9 times out of 10, it'll either come back in anger or as destructive behaviour. Because unless you accept, process, and move on from something, it'll find an unhealthy way out.
Yeah, and I do feel like people have, like say the family members, tend to feel like it's like, oh, because the alcoholics go into the harder time, it like undermines.
It's a
It's
family
not how
disease,
it should be. But like that's probably the way it is. So like I say, it's going back to if everyone around you is in denial, it's like, oh well, then it definitely means that I should be feeling a certain way.
Yeah.
When it's not normal to live in a house where you're on eggshells 24/7.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, innit? It's just like any alcoholic addict in the family, it's just constant tenterhooks of what's going to happen next, isn't it, really? So, yeah. So, obviously now we're in a much better place.
Oh.
How do you think we got to this point from when I left rehab?
I don't think it's been this has happened and that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's a slow process of, oh, actually maybe she's all right there. But I think as well, because you know people well, don't you, especially like your family members. And I think you could tell when you used to come out of rehab, even if you were like sober for whatever it was, like or whatever, you could still see it in you.
Yeah.
There was like something in you where it's like, oh, she's got to go back down that route.
Yeah, because unless you've worked on your inner demons and worked on yourself, you'll always go back to addiction. And I think this time was completely different because I literally for 6 months solid did so much inner work on myself where I literally feel like I've been reborn again. I'm a different person.
But I think personally as well, it was just like I was sick of being, like I was angry for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So I think it was just, I just got to the point where I was like, I'm just fucking done with it. Like, what's... Because I do think being angry at a situation only ever hurts yourself.
Oh, God,
and I think I was just like, whatever. Like, I think it was, if she's got to go off the rails again, she is. If she is, like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You take yourself out of it at some point.
Yeah, and I think we've both had to learn hard ways around the situation, haven't we, really? But at the end of the day, the thing is, we are where we are today, and I think probably the best place that we've ever been in our whole living, being life. You know what I mean?
Oh, sorry.
Right, so what we're going to do is every week, okay, we're going to do something called the weekly Sister Spat. So we've got to talk about a spat
that we've had this week.
And it doesn't even have to be between us. It could be a spat that you've had with somebody else and you just want to discuss it. And then each week we'll get the listeners to comment, to write in, comment, whatever, about
and we'll do a bit
certain spats that they've done, that they've had.
Advice on the situation.
And then we can give our sisterly advice.
Okay.
So we argued this week.
I don't think we've argued this week. I don't know.
No, I don't think we've argued with this week.
I'm trying to think.
I think
when I was telling you off, I can't really include that because it's
yeah, you can. That's a good one, actually.
Yeah, okay.
So it's my daughter's 8th birthday, right? And
you don't get along too well.
I've got a lot of history with her dad in the way that...
As in your daughter's dad?
My daughter's dad.
And my dad.
Well, if I could choose not to be in a room with him, then I would. And I put my feelings and my traumas and my triggers to the side. Yes, I do though. So we went for a meal for my daughter's birthday, and it was me, you, our mum, your boyfriend, Layla, my daughter, and her dad.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes he triggers the shit out of me, and I'm just like, I have to bear it with gritted teeth.
It's fair enough, but you throw fuel on the fire. So you let yourself, you bite back.
Yeah, I bite back because the man, I've got to be careful what I say here, but it was just because it's my daughter's dad, but it was...
But I was like, no matter how you feel...
most people would have put him 6 foot under.
Yeah, agreed. Any other day of the week, the year. But it was Layla's birthday.
Yeah, but I wasn't being antagonistic and I wasn't saying anything bad back.
You were biting. And I was like,
you're right.
Everyone.
All the therapy skills in the world are on.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's because he plays up to a crowd and it winds me off.
But then you're playing up to him.
Because I just can't, honestly, it's like all my rational DBT skills and everything else and everything just goes out the window and I'm just like...
And I went, I took that... We were getting the cape out of the car, weren't we? And I was like, Liv, you need to sort your shit out, man. But just stop biting back. You can't change John, but you can change yourself.
Mate, you make a fish bite back at you. Anyway, so that was our Sister Spat. But I had to just suck it up, deal with it. But you know what? This shows growth. Because if you'd have said anything like that to me before,
yeah, you would.
I'd have been like, what do you mean? Do you know what that man's done to me? You've got no sympathy for me. Yeah. I'm going to go get a fucking vodka. But I was just like, okay, I'll try.
Don't really work, boy.
I can regulate my emotions well now. Very well. It just takes something that's took a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Because, especially with you and bloody mother.
115 on the other, and I'm just like, I'm the normal one in the middle now. Yeah, but you're just like Mum. You've got these little traits coming on.
Like what?
You read my lips when you're talking to you. You're doing it like that. I did it on my lips. Just little things you do. You're so much like Mum. Everything. Like, just every little trait. The way you are, the way you act.
I am my mum's daughter, though, to be fair.
Yeah, you are mum's daughter.
Just a mentally well version.
You can't be an angel, I'm afraid.
I can't. That's Mum.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But I forgot what I was saying now.
I don't even know. It was always on about Layla's birthday, but yeah, it all went without a hitch. We don't really argue now, do we?
What, me or you and
Me and you?
No. It's only when it's your lazy, like the day before your lazy week, where I want to hit you.
Yeah, and I want to hit everyone.
Your PMT is a nightmare the day before your period.
Since I've got sober and my periods have regulated, I can tell you by the change in my inner being when I'm going to come on my period. Like literally 2 days before I'm due on,
you're a bitch.
I want to kill everyone. But to be fair, I do control it quite well.
You're just snappy.
I am snappy, but then I do control it quite well.
Do you know what it is when people like that around me? I'll just like throw fuel on the
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
so it makes it 10 times worse.
It's funny, isn't it?
No,
it's funny.
Not when I'm literally. I think I should just not be around anybody at that point. But I'm even like, I even get annoyed with the cats 2 days before my period, and my cats and my children, my second and third child. But yeah, so we are going to be doing weekly episodes. This is our first one, so we'll be bringing lots of different content. It won't just be talk about
and
addiction.
it is a lot of this. We've never done anything like this before.
No, so now just got to push microphone and see what happens. But yeah, we'll
So it is a lot of seeing what happens, seeing what people want as well.
Because we need to get it out there and whatever. We need to see how you guys react to it, basically.
The whole of Wombin's gonna be so nosy.
I love it.
Oh man. So yeah, I think if we start posting on Instagram and stuff, we can ask.
Yeah.
Someone said it to me the other day. It was, who was it? It was my mate's missus, and she said, I haven't told you this, tell on the pod. She was like, oh, my mate follows your sister. Oh, her mate.
Cyber Close to Life.
Yeah.
Instagram handle. I've just started on TikTok as well. TikTok.
Follow for inspiration on overcoming addiction and see the before and afters. They're a goodie.
Have you got your plug in now? Yeah. Okay,
No, I went like that because that before and after I put on the other day where literally
Really floated.
I'm like this on it, and then the next one was, and I put it on TikTok, and somebody commented saying you've even got different coloured eyes.
Different coloured eyes?
Yeah, because people say it's not the same person. I'm like, it is me. It's like the fire one.
Yeah, because that one woman said that you had fillers, didn't she?
I know, cheeky bitch.
Like it's a compliment.
It's like I had to show Amy because her boyfriend was going mental saying that's AI, that fire one that I put on. But this is not AI, this is completely not, what do you call it? Photoshop shit. This is just addiction. What addiction's
Do you know what
like?
it is? And I'll say it's because of that video. It looks like it's a joke because you're smirking.
Muff me tit, that's why.
I know, but that's like from an outside.
And as well, people are like, why would somebody film it? But you can beep names, can't you? Cause just thought might get done for like copyright or something. What, Ben?
It was just an abusive ex, basically. There's been a long line of them. But yeah. Where was we going with this? So yours follows me.
So my mate's missus follows. No, my mate's missus friend
Follows me.
follows you, and either she's the alcoholic or sister's the alcoholic. And she was like, "Oh, the alcoholic following you is like you've helped her." And she's like, "I bet it would be really helpful the podcast for her sister to listen in from your side." Oh, it's quite nice, isn't it?
That's cute, man.
I told you that.
I like hearing things like that. Like, I love when people message me on Instagram to say, so obviously I've got my clients that I help, but when people message me that just follow me and say, I really wanted a drink today, but I've looked at your Insta and it's I've kept going and that.
That's nice.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Just little old me talking shit. Right. So yeah, we'll see you next week
On the pod. What jingle should we do?
Jingle all the way, it's Christmas time. I don't know.
Put Christmas lights in the background.
What's what is a jingle?
What's a jingle? Like
Where banter meets truth. One of them.
no, that's a line. I'm trying to think of a jingle now.
Like countdown.
Nah.
Nah.
Oh, that's gonna really.
I need a wee. Quick, hurry, wrap it up. I'm gonna wee myself.
Okay, so let's sign it off.
But you're telling me about a jingle. I don't know what a jingle is.
Why is it so hard? Get down on it.
SCS.
Get
down on it.
SCS.
Really
That's a
want it.
jingle because it's like the song that goes along with the thingy.
Okay. So like
The Sister Spat. It's
where it's at.
this is shit.
We'll have a jingle next time. Bye.